Here we go. So 6.2. We're moving away from chapter 5. What was chapter 5 about for the 12s? It was about graphs, creating graphs, and when to use them. Okay, so for 12s, they need to know when. For 11s, you need to know how. So how to do them, so how to create them. Whereas the 12s, they need to interpret and then explain. So that's the key difference between 11 and 12. So when the 12s go to the exams, they need to know what graph should I use for, say, a categorical nominal data. They need to be able to determine why and when. Okay, whereas you guys at 11, you just need to know how to construct a histogram, bar chart, pie chart, etc. Okay? For today's lesson, both of you still need to do the same thing. Shh. Thank you. Eyes and ears towards the board. Measures of central tendency. What does this mean? Central tendency means, thank you, chapter 6 now is about looking at data. So you had graphs, now we're going to look at data. So measures of central tendency means that you are going to check where is the center of the graph. What does the data tell us in the center? Because the center usually tells us most of the people. So here you've got a couple of ways to measure the center. You've got the mean, which means to find the... What's the mean find? Yep. So what's the mean? Mean is to find the average. Good, fill it in. For those who don't know how to find the average, you add all the numbers together and you divide it by the number of data that you have. Make sure to fill the notes in. All right, so mean is the average. Notice the symbol. For those who do general mathematics, on your CAS calculators, you need to know that symbol means to find the average. Sorry? If you need a pen or pencil, I've got pen or pencils for you to borrow. All good? All right. Here we go. Next one, median. So we know that mean is the average. So you add all the numbers together and divide the numbers by numbers. But then median, Q2, means the... What's the median mean again? Let's go over the year 11s. Let's go with Georgia. What does the median mean? The middle. Write this in. The difference between middle and the average. Now this mainly for 11s and 12s. What is the difference when you say, you know, like in class, if I told you that Mr. Tran's class has an average of 80% versus if I said that the class has a median of 80%. Which one's more impressive? And why? So we got one that looks cooler to say median is 80%. This is where, in terms of 11s and 12s, 12s need to be able to tell me exactly why. Why is the average or the median more impressive, or why is it better, and for what scenarios? Now, in a quick summary, average can be deceiving. You see, average, I could have lots of students at 70 to 75, and I just need one kid to get 100%, and it brings up my average, right? Just like when it comes to salary, does anyone know what the average salary for Australians or Melbourne is? Yeah, go. Not the advertised, but that is the true, roughly 70 to 75 is the true average. But do you know what the advertised average is when it goes on to the news? So on the news, I saw on Instagram, they put like a top 10 jobs to earn whatever. Okay, do you know what the average Australian salary is? We got not 75. Who wants to have another guess? Higher. 100. 100K is the average, but the reality, 100K, six-figure salary is what they're saying is the average at the moment. But that's not true, because I just said the real data is actually about 75. So why is that? Why is it that it's 100K? What does that mean? If 75 is the true average salary in Australia, yet 100K is what the media is telling you that you should be earning 6K, and then you get out, try to earn a job, and you're like, why am I not getting six figures? Why is that happening? Someone explain that to me, because they're saying average. Jasper, let's go with Jasper. Jasper? Thank you. Because there are some people, and it's not the average, some people like surgeons and at least 500K above. You can have businesses or people like CEOs definitely is closer to the 700K mark. So these people, there aren't like comparatively to the population, not too many people are earning 700K, but that 700K person brings up the average. And so when we say average, it sounds nice that it's 100K, but the reality is actually 75. But if you did the middle, if you ranked everyone from smallest to largest, then the 50th percent tells you more information. So for year 12s and 11, write this down as part of your notes. Average is only good if there are no extremes. Write that in, please. Okay, so averages are only good if you don't have a low extreme or a high extreme. If everyone's roughly the same, an average is a good measure of the center. But median doesn't care about what everyone else gets. It just ranks them. So the 50th, right middle, that's why it doesn't matter who gets the lowest or who gets the highest. Median is better when extreme values are present. So you do not use the average when you have extremes. That's why if you notice the VC scores at the end of year, when they do, like Haileybury or Melbourne High, they don't quote the average. They quote median, because median is the true measure, because you always have a student that's like way up there and then some students who don't care at all, they're all the way on the bottom. That affects the average, but the median is the true value. But when you have something as a class that's generally all about the same, then the average is good. The average matters. Okay, so if you combine the two, that tells you a bit more about the graph. That's why we call it measure of central tendency, because you got to look at two things. So average and median. But average is poor if you see lots of data on either end. If there's one that's too extreme on either end, average is bad. And that's what you need to say at a year 12 level. Yeah, year 11s, you'll have less of that explanation. But year 12s, you have a lot more of that. Yeah? All right, so now we know the difference between mean, median. Mode is more for graphical interpretation. It is the? Very good. Write it in. Most common or popular, but common is the proper word that we use. So the most common value, for example, in this case here, the most common value is 1. Now, it is possible to have two common values. If there are two modes, we call it bimodal. Okay, and then if there's more than two, we call it multimodal. All right, so if more than two, multimodal. So write that in. If there's more than two, we write multimodal. Okay. Last bit of the information. Outlier is a data point that is significantly higher or lower than the rest of the data. Okay, and there is a way to calculate it, but it's not in this exercise. It's a later exercise. So today's lesson is only for you to work between mean, median, mode, but definitely know the distinction between mean and median. Those are the two key skills. If you had to take it out 6.2 for year 12s, it is knowing the difference of when to use them. Okay? Write that in, please. All right. Now that we've got mean, median, mode, let's have a look at this. So you're not going to do the averages the way you did back in year 7, 8, and 9. You're going to get data like this. And your job is to figure out how would I calculate the median, mode, and average. Mode is the easiest one. So mode is the easiest one to calculate looking at the graph. So let's pick out a few students. Let's go with Pav. First one, example 1A. What is the most common value based on this graph here? It is 12. Very good. So most common is 12. Write that in if you didn't know. Now the median. When you're looking at a graph to find the median, remember smallest to largest. The nice thing is this graph is already in smallest to largest. To find the middle, how do you find the middle? Let's go with Billy. How do you find the middle? Because I'm going to try to find the median now. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There are 14 dots. So how do you find the median? Very good. So median's in the middle. Okay, so the middle of 14 is 7. Now remember last session, I think you guys won sports here, but the others were here. What was the formula to quickly tell you which position is the median again? There was a formula that I gave. It was something divided by 2. N plus 1. Good. So if you guys weren't here for that day, take the number of data plus 1 and divide it by 2. That tells you where the position is. So you told me there's 14 dots. 14 plus 1, which is 15. What's half of 15? 7.5. Good. So the 7.5th position between 7 and 8 is where the middle is. So let's count it. Here we go. Let's count from smallest to largest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 is here. 8's there. So it must be between these two dots. But between these two dots, it's the same number. So between the middle of 12 and 12 is 12. The middle of 12 and 12. Yeah. So if I said, what's the number in between 12 and 12? The number is 12. Yeah. So the median in this case is 12. But what I calculated here was the position. So 7.5th position is between 7 and 8. Now, mean is a bit trickier. I want you to now think about how would you find the mean? You told me mean is average. Average is add all numbers together and divide by number of numbers. We already know there's 14 numbers. But what do you add? What do you add? Archie, what do you think? How do I find the mean just by looking at this graph? How would I find the mean? So I found the mode, I found the median, but how would you find the mean? It means adding all numbers. What numbers am I adding? Where am I going to get these numbers from? Because that's a typical exam question. If I did put it in as a multiple choice, how would you figure it out? Where would the numbers come from? On the graph. Now, can you name me one number you can see? 8. See, that dot represents 8. So you got 8 as one data, plus, what's another number that you can see? Name me another one, Jasper. We've got 10. So how many 10s do I have? I've got 1. So that's plus 10. Plus, the next number, I've got 11. But how many 11s do I have? I've got 3 there. So it's plus 11, plus 11, plus 11. Can you see that? That's where the numbers are coming from. So when you look at these tells you how many numbers you have. You've got 1 8, 1 10, 3 11s, 5 12s, 2 13s, 1 14, and 1 18. You add all those numbers together and you divide by the number of numbers. Now, Billy counted it before and it was? How many numbers in total? 14. There are 14 numbers in total, so you need to add them all together, then divide it by 14. But the skill I'm trying to teach you here is not add numbers and divide numbers. I'm trying to get you to read the graph. Okay, so read the graph. That's how you find your mean. Let's do the same for the next one. Here we go. Part B. I want you to look at part B. Now, this time is not a dot graph. Okay, so you don't have a dot plot, but you have a stem and leaf plot. Here, it's the same idea, but you have to look at the distribution. We can see what the mode is very clearly. What is the mode here? Can anyone tell me? Let's go with another year 11. Even I chosen this side. Let's go with Estella. What do you think the mode is? What's the most common number that's presenting itself? We've got 13. We've got 13 has, which means 134, then 137, 139. Now I'm looking for a number that repeats itself. What's a number that keeps repeating itself? Can you see? Yes, there's an 8 that's repeating itself, and that's in the 14 components. So what does this mean? That means you've got two 148s. Because when you have a 14 as a stem and a leaf as 8, that's 148, and that's another 148. So I've got two 148s. Do we have any other ones that repeat more than double? Or is that the only double? That's the only double. Well, if you don't have a mode, you don't have a mode. So there would just be no mode. That means all of them is equally as important. So you can say multimodal if you want to. So in this case, the mode is 148. Write that in. Is that double 8 there, not the double 13s? Don't look at the graph. Okay, don't look at the graph. Look at the numbers itself. So you got 148 doubles itself. Median. Here we go. Let's test another person now. Median is the middle. Let's go to the back. Finita. How many numbers do we have in total at the moment? Now I want to know number of numbers. How many numbers do we have? 148. No, 148 is the mode. I'm looking for a number of numbers. Someone else count for me. How many numbers do we have? Let's go with Josh. How many numbers does this stem and leaf plot have? So we can see that it's 148, 148. How many total numbers do we have? We've got 30. Let's count. That's 121. That's one number. 125. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So Josh is correct to say that there are 14? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13. Good. I was just double checking for myself too. So there's a total of 13 numbers. So there are 13 numbers. Now to find the median, what's the middle of 13? Use the formula I gave to you. 7. 13 plus 1 is 14. 14 divided by 2 is 7. So count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And it turns out that the median, the 7th position, is 148 again. Now to find the mean, hopefully this one is easier than the dot plot. How do you find the mean? You add all the numbers together and you divide by number of numbers. Now you already know there's 13 numbers. What are those 13 numbers? Literally what you see here. We have, boys, write this down. We've got 121 plus 125 plus, what's these ones? 129 plus, this is now 134. Read out a couple of other numbers so I know that you can read this. Let's go with, who have I chosen? Let's go, Michael. If this is 121, 125, 129, what number is this? Good, 134. Next one, Jack. What's this number? 137. Let's go with Mitchell. Good, so that's 139. So learning to read these numbers, that's what you're adding together. Add all the numbers together and you divide by number of numbers, which is 13. You can do that on your calculator. Yeah, so you don't have to do it by hand. Does that so far? Can I get a show of hands? Show of hands if you understood the 3 modes, central tendency. Hands right up if you understood it. Good, boys. Did you understand that? Yeah. Good, so mean, median, mode, how to read from a graph. Cool. So that was the key skill for 12s. For 11s, you guys might have it a bit easier where you might just have stem and leaf plots or you might just have dot plots. Okay, or you might have a bar chart. The same idea. All right. Now, these two, this one I'm going to leave for the year 11s to try. Okay, this is a typical question on fine, and there's a rule here. I'm going to write the solutions later, but year 12s only. So how many year 12s do I've got all of you guys. So you guys in the back, I want you to look at this example. Year 11s, try this example 2. Year 12s, I want you to do this bit. Example 3. So example 3 for year 12s, whereas year 11s, I want you to do example 2. Example 3 is different because this time is group data frequency. So what does that mean? You are used to seeing numbers that are just whole numbers. So you had before 121, 122, 124. But what happens if I tell you that you have a class interval between 0 and 4, you got 6 of them. Between 5 and 9, you've got 8 of them. Between 10 and 14, you got 2 of them. So if I ask you now to find the mean, that makes it a lot harder to understand because you don't have one number. How do you times them? Get me? So what do you do? Here's the formula for it. So write your own notes so you understand what this formula means. Because it's between 0 and 4, what we do is we say find the middle of 0 and 4. Okay, between that class interval, find the middle of that class interval, and then you times it by the frequency, so by 6. Okay, so here's the first example. Here we go, 0 to 4. We got 6 of them. What is the middle of 0 and 4? Let's go with the year 12s. I've already chosen all 3 of you, so I'm back to Billy again. Billy, middle of 0 and 4. 2. So here, if you want to know what the mean is, you found the average for the interval, times the 2, how often you have. So 2, you've got 6 of them. 6 times 2 gives you 12. So then it becomes 12 as your frequency for class interval. You only do this if you've got a class interval. Yeah, this room, that aircon doesn't work. Open up the windows to help out. But yeah, this room has been a sauna. We've already put in a report, but it hasn't, yeah. I know. It's pretty crazy. I'm not sure if the other room's the same, but it is. Well, it's probably these 2 portables. Yeah, it is bad luck on a hot day. All right. Next one. What's the middle between 5 and 9? How do you find the middle between 5 and 9? Can I please have, let's go with, now moving to the right, Josh. How do you find the middle of 5 and 9? And how did you do that? You can do the halfway, so you can count it in between. There is a method that you can do. Add those two together. 5 plus 9 divided by 2. So 5 plus 9, which is 14. 14 divided by 2 gives you the center as well. Okay, so that's an easier way to do it. So yes, you're right though. It is 7. 7 times 8. Was that too fast? Next one. Take your time. Or you can, remember, you can use the calculator. Yeah. It is, yes, it is 56. Very good. All right, same thing with the next one. 10 to 14, middle of 10 to 14. Let's go with Callum. 12 is correct. So then you do 12 times 2, which is 24. Middle of 15 and 19. Let's go with Pav. Middle of 15 and 19. Yes? 17 is the correct answer. But at least you knew the algorithm and you guys knew it intuitively. Fantastic. You got to combine the two for the exam. Yeah? So 17 times 3. Who wants to have a go with that? Yes, you're right. 51. And then between 20 and 24 must be 22. 22 times 5. 110 is correct. Very good. So, now how do you find the average? So let's say you do all this table. The average is you add all these numbers together. Don't add this. Don't do this. Don't add that. This is the midpoint. You're adding this. This is what you're adding together. So it says add the midpoint times frequency. So add all these together. Here we go. Average is equal to 12 plus 56 plus 24 plus 51 plus 110 divided by, and not 253. Why not 253? Because that's the mistake that students do. And I'll show you the exam later after you guys do it. Why 20% of the students got it right. It's because they're mixing up here. Why not 253? Someone... It's a total of what?
Everything added up.
Exactly. It's a total of everything added up. So you're trying to find the total of the numbers. The total numbers that you have, right? This was the total numbers. You had 6 of them, 8 of them, 2 of them, 3 of them, 5 of them. So total, you got 24 of these class intervals. You got 24 of those 2s. 6 of those 2s, 8 of those 7s, 2 of those 12s, 3 of the 17s. So you count the number of numbers. So that's why the number of numbers is total frequency, not this one. Okay, so the total number should be 24. Type in your calculator to get your average. Okay? Now for the year 11s, if you're listening in on this one, that is no different from what you guys did, except you guys don't have a class interval. You just had to do 4 times 1, 5 times 2, 6 times 5. Then you just got to make sure you add on to the total number of numbers. Okay, I'll write the solutions later, which right now, but for the year 12s right now, this is what I want you to do. That second sheet, which I don't have a spare, second sheet, there are only 3 questions. I want all the 12s, which is only, there's 7 of you there. There's only 3 questions. First 2, you should get right. 60% for the first one, 70% get it correct for the second one, and only 20% get it for the last one. Don't look at the answer. Go through the 3, and then see if you get them all right. Good. I want you to get 100%, because those are the questions from last year's exam. That was 2025, showing 6.2. Have a go. Get a feel. Use a calculator. Don't use a tabs. This is from last year's exam. Thank you. And year 11s, I'm going to write the solutions for that question, and then you can work on the exercise. I forgot which ones. Just those 3 questions, and you can work on 6.2. Yeah, but I want you to upload that as part of 6.2 as well. Okay? Yeah. Oh, come up here. Actually, Jasper, you're missing some notes from yesterday.